Doctors, are you taking time to develop your staff? Hi, everybody. Welcome to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast, brought to you by CATS Consultants and Chiro Health USA. I'm Dr. Michael Perusich, and I'm joined by my special guest host today, Dr. Alex Kallio, one of our CATS Consultants coaches extraordinaire. Alex, how are we doing today?
I'm great. How about you?
Doing fantastic. So everybody, Alex is getting settled into his new home. So pretty exciting stuff over there.
Absolutely. Yeah, plenty to do, but it's all right. Keeps me busy.
Yeah. Welcome to the Southeast.
Glad to be here.
Too bad you didn't bring your college football team with you.
Yeah. Give it another year or two. We might be more excited about it.
Yeah. There you go. There you go. I thought this would be a good topic for today. I want to talk a little bit about developing staff and how not doing so may actually be hurting your practice. Far too often, we have a tendency to hire people who are task doers, who can file insurance for us, who can answer phones and do those kind of things. And while those are important things, I think we need to keep a keen eye on different areas of the practice. And so in your practice, you did this. I know we did this in my practice too, that we develop staff into more of, we call them success partners, where they're actually able to help produce more revenue and help push the practice along so that everything doesn't just fall on the doctor's head. And one of those areas that's so crucial is teaching them how to watch for opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. And some of that, you can teach certain aspects of things within you can teach tasks, but there's certain intangible assets that staff need to have that come by that naturally, and then be able to show them within those opportunities how to spot that. And certainly the teachable part of how to approach it and do that with patients. But some of that's just intangible. Staff, it's part of that hiring process of knowing what to look for within those individuals as well.
Yeah. And I think there's been a major shift in the kind of person we should be hiring here in the last few years. We're seeing practices really perform better when they hire people who have less task-oriented skills in their resume and people who have more communication experience, more sales experience, more marketing experience. Those seem to be better staff members in today's environment.
Yeah, which again, where do you find those people? Out in the community. Many times it's your people that are working in those customer service, oriented jobs that have those interpersonal skills, and not just, okay, we hired because they've worked in a chiropractic or a medical office for the last 10 years.
Right.
I'm really looking for those service oriented people.
And when you talk about customer service, you bring up a great point in those interpersonal communication skills. Those are so important because one of the best things that staff can be doing for you in your practice is helping you build deeper patient relationships and deeper relationships with your community in general. So we got to take a quick break, but I want to come back and talk about that aspect a little bit and kind of flesh that out. We're going to break away for just a quick word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
In today's economy, every dollar counts. Families are facing tough choices, having to reconsider what was once essential to them. But when it comes to healthcare, no one should have to compromise on their well-being because of financial constraints. That's where Chiro Health USA steps in, the solution for your practice. We understand the financial pressures families are under, whether they're insured, on Medicare, or paying out of pocket for treatment. By offering discounts on care, you can ensure that your patients can still afford the treatment they need. At Chiro Health USA, we're committed to making sure no family has to sacrifice their health due to financial hardship. We'll work with you to create a game plan that keeps your waiting room full and your practice thriving. And here's the best part. Offering affordable care not only benefits your patients, but also positively impacts your bottom line. So why wait? Join Chiro Health USA today and join the ranks of the most successful practices. Because when you put your patients first, everyone wins.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to the KC CHIROpulse Podcast, brought to you by CATS Consultants and Chiro Health USA. Alex and I are talking today about developing staff to actually help you build and grow your practice. We started touching on, before the break, we started touching a little bit on interpersonal communication skills and some of the things that we need to look for and building relationships with patients. Alex, one of the ways that we have been successful in getting patients to stay long-term in the practice and not just be pain-oriented, but to be more wellness and long-term oriented is by building those great strong relationships, but we as the doctors can't do it by ourselves.
Those patients they're with us in a very focused amount of time. We have a very limited amount of time. They get way more time with the staff, whether it's at the desk or in the back office. And those staff are going to have way more chance to find out about the anniversaries and the birthdays and the kids' accomplishments and some of those kind of things. That's what's going to build that rapport and trust, not only in the office as a whole, but even more so with the doctors too, just by getting that rapport going with the patient.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And it comes back to that rapport and making patients feel like they're taken care of, not just by the doctor, but by the entire clinic team. That's so important. And I know in my office, and I'm sure it was this way in yours too, in my practice, my staff would uncover opportunities all day long. And they would come tell me, hey, doc, just wanted you to know that Betty just told me that she and her husband tilled up a 5-acre garden over the weekend. What does that say? That says, hey, Betty, you need to get adjusted today, but we may need to see you again in a few days to overcome those activities.
Well, sorry to interrupt, or the flip of that one about themselves, but they bring up, oh, hey, I've got to go. Sorry, I can't, I got to run. I got to take my kid to this other doc because they got hurt in their sport this last weekend. If the staff lets that slide, I'm like, wait a minute. We need to get them in here for a check too, if they've got something going on, and be able to have that authority to just do that with the patient.
Yeah. So your staff can uncover all kinds of new treatment plans, proxy referrals, and all sorts of things just by them paying attention to what patients are saying to them. But patients won't say anything to them if they don't have some kind of rapport and some kind of relationship with those patients. Absolutely. So those interpersonal skills really come in handy. And if they come into your business with customer service experience, with marketing experience, with sales experience, those kind of things, they know how to talk to people. And that's incredibly important, as opposed to that head down, task oriented skill set, which again, some of those skills are important, but we can teach those. And I'd rather in today's world, because the consumer mindset is so relationship bent these days, I'd much rather teach somebody with marketing and communication background how to do a task than the other way around.
Absolutely. And the flip too comes into just, again, in the office of you mentioned sales. Even just the breakdown, they're coming up and they're talking about, again, they're out in the garden, how sore they were. Yeah, we didn't get it back for an adjustment, but hey, did you know we have this BioFreeze or whatever the product is that you have that's really good for sore muscle? You should get that on your way out today. What an easy kind of thing that is to do for the staff. But yeah, some of that is within our culture and our training within the office. But some of those skills are things ideally that people have naturally, just to be able to talk that up.
My office, our staff would talk to patients about all kinds of different products, like pillows, for example. And they would say things like, hey, how old's your pillow? Have you tried one of these great chiropractic pillows? And of course, you catch patients off guard. Patient says, well, I have no idea how old my pillow is. Let's send one of these home with you. And they would do that kind of stuff all day long. But here's the key, docs. You have to spend the time. And I hear a lot of you say, I don't have time. If I'm over here doing staff training, then I'm not seeing patients and I'm not driving revenue. But that's actually a false prophet thing to say, because when you spend the time, you parlay yourself with a highly trained and highly developed staff. You parlay your abilities to drive revenue to the bottom line even more.
And the thing we've seen with staff, especially in the last really probably 5 years to 10 years, is the change a little bit of staff want that training.
They do.
Staff want to be developed. They want to have, whether it's within culture or, within the office, they want to have that development training. And if they're not getting it, guess what, docs? They're going to go somewhere else in search of it. So you're going to be in this endless cycle of retraining, new staff just to begin with, and then constantly get into that hamster wheel. So you've got to spend at least it doesn't have to be a crazy amount of time, but you got to set aside some time, even if it's just a few minutes in your staff meetings each week, to have a little bit of development time. And even if it's just a real focused point on one aspect each week.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And development is so important that it's actually a great way to retain excellent staff. It's an investment, but that investment comes back to you 10 times.
Absolutely.
So we're going to take another quick break to hear a couple of words from our sponsors. But when we come back, I want to talk about how simple it is to find the time to develop your staff, and just some simple tips on how to create a good development program in your practice. All right, everybody, we'll be right back.
Pat's Chiropractic Consultants, your partner in chiropractic success. We are dedicated with one-on-one guidance to bring you all your practice management needs. Let's supercharge your practice. Give us a call today.
All right, everybody, we are back. I'm here with Dr. Alex, and we are talking about staff development. And Dr. Alex, before the break, we started talking just a little bit about how simple it is, and you don't have to spend an extraordinary amount of time in staff development. So let's just throw out some ideas on just really simple ways to incorporate training into your regular work week. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, it doesn't take a lot. Half the battle is just getting it on your agenda.
Right, exactly.
Just actually putting it on the agenda to start with, and making sure you're having regular meetings, even if that's reviewing stats and your things. But literally, you can carve out a 10-minute focus time and pick a topic. If you're not doing anything, that's the first spot to really start, is just actually getting it down on your agenda.
Yeah, exactly. And so you brought up staff meetings. Staff meetings are incredibly important. And I hear a lot of docs say, our staff meetings are boring. We don't know what to talk about. Here's what you talk about. Talk about a condition that some patient came in this week with or recently. Talk about how chiropractic is helping that. Help your staff understand how broad chiropractic can be and in what way are we helping people. Take one product that you sell and talk with staff about how to talk to patients about it. Just those little things right there. Go through your list of patients who are coming in on the next day or later in the week and talk about, who is coming in and maybe has kids who are playing sports, or we're in that back to school time right now. What moms are coming in, and do we need to get their kids in for scoliosis screening because schools don't do that anymore? There's all kinds of little things like that don't really take any time.
Yeah. And I would say the flip was, don't just talk about it. Give the scenarios, give what the responses should be, but then role play it.
Exactly.
And actually be able to hear staff. Again, staff don't want to be just talked at. Now, you can get some pushback for staff that don't necessarily always want to participate in a role play, but we've tended to find if staff, they may be uncomfortable in it to start with because it's just different, especially if they're talking to the doctor or having a role play with the doctor. They might be uncomfortable to start, and that's okay. But if they just flat won't participate in that, it kind of gives you a little bit of a hint what you may be seeing down the road anyway. So they're just not going to do that procedure and find those opportunities if they're not willing to participate in that either. So it can also give you some other information into those staff.
It can tell you how engaged your employees actually are. And if you have employees that aren't fully engaged, either have the conversation with them of how important that is and how it can make their job easier, or you may be at the point where you're looking for a new staff person that fills that role better for you.
Absolutely. But yeah, we found role play is absolutely the best way for staff to, one, get into, and maybe it's even you get into training in the missed appointment procedures and how do they respond to those barriers that patients put up. Role playing that kind of thing can prep them for that so they don't end up with the deer in the headlights look. When somebody gives them I'm just not going to do that talk, how do they respond with that versus getting angry or having that kind of thing. So it's vitally important to mix that into your training periodically. It doesn't have to be every time, but certainly it is good to put in the mix.
Absolutely. So we've been talking about staff development and how important it is. And I just want to recap a little bit. So your staff can help drive additional revenue to your bottom line. That's a good thing. It doesn't take a lot of time to do development. It's a great retention tool for excellent staff. It points out how engaged your staff really is, and it helps you build those deeper relationships. Wow. Talk about a win-win for everybody. So docs, make sure you're spending the time to do staff development. And when you have a chance, go to katzconsultants.com and check out all the ways that we're helping doctors develop their teams into success partners and really driving that strategy straight to your bottom line. So go check us out. Be sure to subscribe and tell everybody about our podcast. We are growing like crazy, and that's thanks to you, everybody in the audience. So we appreciate you checking us out. And special thanks to Chiro Health USA for being one of our sponsors. And Dr. Alex, thank you for being on here today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Glad to be here.
Awesome. All right, everybody. From all of us at Katz Consultants, make it a great day.